Oh. Hi. Okay, so no. Okay, so Beowulf is an amazing movie. No, can't do that. Beowulf is a great movie. Okay, Beowulf is a movie directed by Robert Zemeckis. You may have heard of him. He directed films such as Castaway, as Forrest Gump, a bunch of stuff. But in the early 2000s, he started developing, or he tried to basically do these new set of movies that were basically really realistic animations using performance capture technology. And look, whilst that's something that today is really common, even in video games and stuff, at the time it cost a hell of a fortune to do. So he released, during the early 2000s, a bunch of movies using this technology, Beowulf being one of them. Others were the Polar Express. What else do we have here? What? It was also used in Monster House. Oh! A Christmas Carol. He also did it on that. I think he also used it on that movie as well. On Jim Carrey. Essentially, what is Beowulf about? Beowulf is about a hero during the Viking times, something along those lines. And there's an ogre named Grendel who is really messing stuff up in this town. And if any hero can defeat Grendel, he receives a great reward. And Beowulf comes to save the day. And shit goes wrong, and all sorts of stuff. It's based on a poem. A very old Nordic poem. The poem itself is called Beowulf. It goes into 3 of his battles, one against Grendel, the next one Grendel's mother, and the final one the dragon, who are all characters you encounter in the movie. The movie takes it a little differently from the poem, but it's still great. Man. At the time when it came out, the technology and the animation, it was amazing. It was really good. Like, at the time, there was not much. I mean, this was the day of PS2 graphics, guys, so there wasn't really much that looked as realistic. Not many animated movies that looked as realistic as this one did. Beowulf and the Polar Express included. Now, the downfall for these movies was essentially that it just cost a fortune to do. Beowulf itself cost $150 million to make, and it only made back 195 at the box office. And that 150 million, the budget, isn't including stuff such as advertising as well. So it's maybe made a loss or just about broke even overall. Another reason why, in my opinion, it didn't do too well in the box office was it was released during November 2007. So right before Christmas. During that time, let me just read some off. Fred Claus had been released. Is that the only Christmas movie? Okay, it was released right before Christmas. And you know, during November and Christmas time, studios love to release feel-good, happy family movies. And that's exactly what happened. Movies such as B-Movie, You Like Jazz? Enchanted, Mr. Megorium's Wonderful Emporium, Fred Claus, stuff like that were all released at the same time, within weeks of each other. And because of that, Beowulf didn't really stand a chance to begin with. You know, coming up to Christmas, families want to watch happy movies, don't they? They don't really want to watch Ray Winston in CGI, let's call it, made to look much better looking than he did in real life. The cast for the movie were amazing. Amazing. All A-list actors who have done so much and won so many Academy Awards over the years. So it's really strange that this movie was such a flop, considering the amount of budget that went into it, and the amount of big actors that took part as well. Ray Winston, okay, that's an interesting one, isn't it? But Anthony Hopkins, Brendan Gleeson, who I love, John Malkovich, Crispin Glover from Back to the Future, and Angelina Jolie. There was a huge cast for this movie. And obviously this was also directed or produced by Robert Zemeckis. Robert Zemeckis, as we know, directed so many critical successes previously. So it had so much going for it, this movie. I'm looking now online. On Rotten Tomatoes, or Tomatoes, it only has an audience score of 50%. And that's with almost 350,000 reviews. I think the critics score is much closer to it. The critics score says 70% with 200 reviews. Are you the one they call Beowulf? The Beowulf? The bear? Such a strong man you are, with the strength of a king. King you will one day become. I am Ripper, Terror, Slasher, Gouger. I am the teeth in the darkness, the talons in the night. Mine is strength and lust and power. I am Beowulf. If we die, it will be for glory, not gold. She's not my curse. Not anymore. These are great quotes. Another thing, the music. The score for this movie is amazing. One of my favourite scenes in the movie is about at the half-an-hour mark. It's a scene where in Hrothgar's hall, his wife is singing a song, playing the harp to Beowulf. And there's a beautiful shot where it slowly pans out, slowly zooms away from the hall, far, far, far away from that location. And you can hear the music echoing and echoing until it reaches Grendel's cave. And you just know he's gonna kill them all. I think one of the best things about the movie is just Ray Winston being a super young buff Viking dude. It's also great that he's just got one of the thickest London accents you can have, and he's playing some crazy badass Viking from the year like 500. Look, I love Ray Winston, and this movie I watched when I was really young. Probably I watched it too young. I think the age rating on this is like an 18, and I probably watched it at 8. The ending of this movie as well, it's just amazing. It's amazing. Like, Beowulf is such a cool character, and I love, spoilers ahead guys, but I love one thing about it. Essentially at the end of the movie, Beowulf dies, and it's sad shit. And once he dies, we see that the dragon horn has then passed to Beowulf's friend, Wiglaf. When Wiglaf, who has to take over as the king of the kingdom, finds the dragon horn, and it's so ambiguous because you see Angelina Jolie's character, Grendel's mother, has still survived, and who knows what happens next. It's cyclical, it's very cool and ambiguous. I love that. I love that shit. At one point of the movie, Beowulf fights bare ass naked, and it's the best fucking scene ever. Alright? It's, for one part of it, it's almost one shot following Beowulf entirely, making sure that any object in the scene is completely covering his cock. And it's just the best. It's amazing. At one point there's like a puff of smoke that's covering it. At one point he's standing on a table and there's a candle covering it. Every time he's fighting, Grendel's arm is like somehow swaying in the way. It's like the start of the Simpsons movie with Bart Simpson, except you just never get to see Beowulf's cock. It's a great scene. It's so good. It's a work of art, guys. It's a work of art, this movie. Ultimately, this movie has amazing music, an amazing cast, awesome animation for the time, and Ray Winston. So, yeah, I rate this a 7.5 out of 10. Go follow me on Twitch if you want to just chill and have a little chat about the movies and shit. See you later, homies.